The sky above New Haven Colony burned red. Smoke rose from buildings that used to be homes, schools, and hospitals. People ran through the streets, trying to find shelter from the alien ships that circled overhead like metal vultures. Commander stood on the roof of the last defense tower, watching his world die. He was not human. His people, had built this colony with human help 20 years ago. They had called it a place of peace. Now it was a place of death. "Sir, the shields are down to 12%, said his officer, a young named. His voice shook with fear. Looked at the alien fleet above them. The Empire had come without warning. Their ships were black and sharp like the teeth of some great beast. They had demanded surrender. When refused, they began to destroy the colony. "How many ships do they have?" asked. 30 warships, sir, maybe more coming." Closed his eyes. His own forces had only 5 small ships left. Most of his pilots were dead. The colony had sent messages to every allied world begging for help. No one had answered. They were too far away on the edge of known space. By the time help arrived, there would be nothing left to save. "We fight until the end," said quietly. Below them in the shelter tunnels, thousands of people waited in darkness. Families held their children close. Human settlers who had made New Haven their home prayed to their gods. They all knew the truth. No one was coming to save them. On the main warship, General Vex watched the colony burn with satisfaction. He was a large creature, covered in gray scales, with 4 arms and eyes that glowed yellow in the dark. They had conquered 40 worlds this year. New Haven would be 41. "How long until they surrender?" asked his second officer. "They won't," Vex said, his voice like grinding stones. "Are proud. We will kill them all and take the planet. The Emperor will be pleased." "Sir, we detected a message from the colony earlier. They called for help." Vex laughed, a horrible sound. "Help from who?" "The nearest fleet is 3 weeks away. We will be done here in 3 days." He leaned forward in his command chair. "Continue the bombardment. I want that last shield tower destroyed by nightfall." Back on New Haven, walked down from the tower. He needed to speak to the people in the shelters. They deserved to hear the truth from him, not from rumors. As he walked through the damaged streets, he saw the destruction around him. The park where and human children played together was now a crater. The medical center was rubble. The school was burning. He reached the main shelter entrance and descended the stairs. Thousands of faces turned to look at him, with their blue skin and silver eyes. Humans with their variety of colors and features, all of them afraid, all of them hoping he would say help was coming. "People of New Haven," began. His voice was strong even though his heart was breaking. "I will not lie to you. We sent messages to our allies, Earth, the Federation. No one has answered, no one is coming." Silence filled the shelter. Then a human woman began to cry. Others joined her. But continued, "We are not dead yet. We have shields. We have weapons. We have each other. We will fight for every hour, every minute. We will make the pay for every inch of our world. If we must die, we die as free people, not as slaves." A few people stood and cheered, then more. Soon the whole shelter was shouting in defiance, felt pride swell in his chest. These were brave people. They deserved better than this. As he left the shelter, his communication device buzzed. It was from the tower. "Sir, something strange is happening." "What is it?" "We're detecting a signal. It's coming from deep space. It's getting stronger." Felt a small hope. "Is it a ship?" "I don't know, sir. The signature is strange. I've never seen anything like it." On the warship, Vex's own officers were seeing the same signal. "General, we have an unknown contact approaching at high speed." Vex frowned. "From where?" "Unknown, sir. It appeared suddenly. It's very fast." "Is it a ship?" "We think so, but it's small. Only 1 vessel." Vex relaxed. "1 ship against my fleet. Destroy it when it gets close enough." But deep in space, something was coming. Something they did not expect. something that would change everything. In the darkness between stars, a single ship flew at impossible speed. Inside, 20 soldiers prepared their weapons and checked their armor. They were Earth's best warriors. They had trained for years for missions like this. Their commander, a man named, stood at the front of the ship, looking at the screen that showed New Haven burning below. 5 minutes to drop, said the pilot, a woman named. Turned to his team. We're going in hot, no backup, no second chances, 20 of us against an army. A young soldier named grinned. I like those odds. The others laughed. They were not afraid. They were Earth's warriors, and they had come to fight. 2 days earlier, on Earth, the Emergency Council had gathered in the Military Command Center deep beneath Seoul. General Park sat at the head of the table, reading the desperate message from New Haven Colony for the third time. They have maybe 3 days, said Admiral Young, a gray-haired woman who commanded Earth's 7th Fleet. My ships are 3 weeks away. We cannot reach them in time. Then they die, said another official. It's tragic, but we cannot save everyone. Slammed his hand on the table. New Haven has 5,000 humans living there. They trusted us. They built their lives on that colony because we promised to protect them. And what can we do? The official asked. Send thoughts and prayers. A younger officer stood up. Her name was Major, and she ran Earth's Special Operations Division. There is one option, Project. The room went silent. Everyone knew about it. Was crazy. It was dangerous, but it might work. Explain, said. Activated a hologram. It showed a small ship, sleek and fast. We built this ship for deep space rescue missions. It can travel at speeds no other human ship can match. Using a combination of experimental jump drives and traditional engines, it can reach New Haven in 48 hours. 48 hours, Young said. That's impossible. It's never been tested at full capacity, admitted. The G-forces would kill a normal crew. But if we use our enhanced soldiers, the ones who have been through the Titan program, they could survive the trip. The Titan program was Earth's most secret project. Soldiers were given special training and biological enhancements. They were stronger, faster, and more durable than normal humans. They could survive conditions that would kill anyone else. Leaned forward. How many soldiers can the ship carry? 20, maybe 25 if we push it. 20 soldiers against a fleet, that's suicide. Smiled coldly. These are not normal soldiers, General. These are Earth's Titans, and they have never fought humans before. They don't know what we're capable of. Thought for a long moment, then he nodded. Do it. Get me the best team we have. 12 hours later, stood in the briefing room with his team. He was 32 years old, a veteran of 15 combat missions. The Titan enhancements had made him stronger and faster, but they hadn't changed who he was inside. He was still a soldier who believed in protecting the innocent. Stood at the front of the room, showing them images of New Haven burning. They are destroying the colony, she said. They have 30 warships. The colony has almost no defenses left. You will drop from orbit directly into the combat zone. Your mission is simple. Hold the line until the 7th Fleet arrives. 3 weeks, asked a heavy weapons specialist. We have to hold for 3 weeks. No, said. You have to hold for 3 days. After that, there won't be anything left worth saving. But if you can hurt them badly enough in 3 days, they might retreat. They don't like casualties. Raised his hand. He was the youngest on the team, only 24. What about extraction? How do we get out? Was quiet for a moment. The ship that takes you there can't land. It's built for speed, not combat. You'll drop in armored pods. After that, you're on your own until the fleet arrives. So it's a one-way trip, said the team's medic. Potentially, yes. The room was silent, then stood up. I'm going. Anyone who wants to stay behind can do so. No shame in it. Every single soldier stood up. Not one of them sat down. The pilot smiled. Looks like you have a full team, Commander. They spent the next 24 hours preparing, checked every weapon personally. Their armor was a new design, made from materials that could withstand incredible heat and impact. Each soldier would carry enough ammunition for days of fighting. They packed medical supplies, explosives, and everything they might need. Second in command was a woman named. She was an expert in alien technology and tactics. She pulled aside before they loaded onto the ship. "I read the reports on she said. "They're strong. Their scales are hard to penetrate. They have better weapons than most species." Bud asked, "But they've never lost a battle. They're arrogant. They think they're invincible. That's their weakness." Nodded, "Then we teach them that they're wrong." The ship was called the Phoenix. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Long and narrow, covered in heat-resistant panels with engines that glowed blue with power. Inside, it was cramped. 20 soldiers in full armor barely fit. Sat in the pilot's seat, running through final checks. "This is going to be rough," she said over the intercom. "The acceleration will feel like an elephant sitting on your chest. Even with your enhancements, you'll probably pass out. That's normal." Comforting muttered, "Once we hit jump speed, you'll wake up. Then we have 46 hours of travel. Use that time to rest. When we arrive at New Haven, you'll have about 60 seconds before you drop. Make them count." General's voice came over the radio. "Phoenix team, this is command. You carry the hopes of Earth with you. 5,000 of our people are counting on you. The galaxy is watching to see what humanity will do. Show them what Earth's warriors are made of." Keyed his microphone. "We won't let them down, sir." "I know you won't, son. Godspeed." The engines powered up. The vibration shook the entire ship. Gripped his harness and looked at his team. Every face showed determination. These were the best soldiers Earth had ever produced. If anyone could pull off a miracle, it was them. "Phoenix, you're clear for launch," came the control tower's voice. His hands moved over the controls. "Here we go. See you on the other side." The Phoenix shot forward. The acceleration was brutal. Felt his vision narrow, then darken. The elephant on his chest became a mountain. He heard someone scream. Then everything went black. When he woke up, they were in jump space. Stars streaked past the windows like tears of light. His voice came over the intercom. "Welcome back. We're 44 hours from New Haven. Get some rest. When we arrive, all hell breaks loose." Unbuckled and floated in zero gravity to the small window. Out there, somewhere in the dark, people were dying. But help was coming. Earth's warriors were coming. And the would learn to fear humanity. The Phoenix dropped out of jump space at the edge of the New Haven system. Alarms immediately filled the ship. Hands flew over the controls as she dodged sensor sweeps from the fleet. "They know we're here," she said. 30 seconds until drop range." In the back, and his team sealed their helmets and checked their weapons one final time. The drop pods were ready, 20 metal eggs that would carry them through fire and death to the surface below. "Listen up," said over the team channel. "We hit the ground in 4 groups of 5. Group takes the East Shield Tower. Group takes the West. Group secures the main shelter entrance. My group hits the ground forces directly. We make noise. We make them pay. We buy time." "And if we die?" asked a soldier named Ho. "Then we die standing," said simply. "Load up." Each soldier climbed into their pod. The space was tight, barely enough room to breathe. Sealed his pod door and felt the launch system engage. Through the small window, he could see New Haven below. The colony was dark except for fires and explosions. 10 seconds, said. Her voice was calm. "It's been an honor flying you maniacs. Give them hell." "See you planet side," said. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop. The pods launched. Felt the violent acceleration as the pod shot away from the Phoenix. Then came the heat as they entered the atmosphere. The pod glowed red-hot. Inside, watched the altitude counter drop. 5,000 meters, 4,000, 3,000. Suddenly his pod shook hard. Warning lights flashed. They are shooting at us. We're taking fire. Evasive protocols, ordered. The pods began to spin and weave as they fell, making themselves harder targets. Saw another pod nearby explode in a ball of fire. One of his soldiers was gone before they even reached the ground. Is down, said, her voice tight with anger. Keep moving, ordered. Don't let her death be for nothing. 2,000 meters, 1,500. The ground rushed up to meet them, braced for impact. The pod hit like a meteor. Even with the shock absorbers and his enhanced body, felt his teeth rattle. The pod door blew off and he rolled out, rifle ready. He was in the middle of a street in New Haven. Buildings burned around him, and 50 meters away, a group of soldiers turned to look at him. Didn't hesitate, he opened fire. The rifle was a new design, firing explosive rounds that could punch through armor. The first alien went down with a roar. The others scattered, returning fire. I'm engaged. All teams report. Here we're at the East Tower, everywhere. West Tower is hot, we're pushing through. We've reached the shelter entrance. The locals look surprised to see us. Grinned inside his helmet. Let's show them Earth doesn't abandon its people. Push forward. On the warship, General Vex stared at the reports in disbelief. What do you mean we're under attack? By what? Unknown soldiers, sir. They dropped from orbit. We count 19 of them. 19, Vex roared. 19 enemies and you're reporting this to me. Send a battalion and crush them. But the officer looked frightened. Sir, they've already killed over 100 of our soldiers. Our troops are falling back. Vex stood up from his command chair. That was impossible. They were the strongest warriors in the galaxy. No one could stand against them. Show me. The screen changed to show a battle camera from a soldier on the ground. Vex watched as a human in advanced armor moved like lightning, shooting 3 soldiers before they could even aim their weapons. The human threw something that exploded, killing 5 more. Then the human rushed forward with a blade, moving too fast to track. What are they? Vex whispered. Down in the shelter, Commander watched the same feeds on his screens. His hands shook. Are those humans? Yes, sir, said. They're fighting though, they're actually winning. Outside, the sounds of battle were everywhere. Ran to the shelter entrance. There, he saw 4 human soldiers in armor holding the entrance against a wave of warriors. The humans moved like machines, perfect and deadly. Every shot hit. Every movement was efficient. One of the humans, a large one with heavy weapons, saw and nodded. You, Commander. Yes, who are you? Earth military, we're here to help. He turned and fired a rocket that destroyed a vehicle. You got any soldiers left who can fight? Some, maybe 100. Get them armed into the walls. We're going to hold this shelter. Couldn't believe it. Earth had sent help. Only 20 soldiers, but they had come. How long can you hold? Reloaded his weapon. As long as it takes. At the East Tower, and his team had fought their way to the top. The shield generator was damaged but still working. A young technician named was hiding behind the controls. Can you fix it? Asked. Stared at him. You're human, you came to help us. Yes, can you fix the shields? I can boost them to 20%, maybe 25. Do it, we'll keep the off you. Positioned his team at the tower entrances. Moments later, soldiers began their assault. They came in waves, dozens at a time, but his team were ready. The narrow entrances became killing zones. Bodies piled up. They keep coming, shouted a soldier named Ara. Then we keep shooting, fired until his rifle was empty, then switched to his sidearm. Behind them worked on the shields. The young's hands moved fast, rewiring and rerouting power. Got it, shouted. Shields at 23%. Immediately, the bombardment from the ship stopped having effect. The shields held. At the West Tower's team had their own battle. They had sent their best soldiers here. warriors in heavy armor with powerful weapons, analyzed their tactics and found weaknesses. She directed her team to hit them from multiple angles, using the ruined buildings as cover. Their armor is strong in front, weak at the joints, she said. Aim for the knees and elbows. Her team adjusted their fire. Warriors began to fall, their joints destroyed, their heavy armor becoming prisons. In the center of the colony, fought like a demon. His team moved building to building, hitting forces and disappearing before they could respond. Kept count. They had killed over 200 soldiers now, but more kept coming. The pilot's voice came over the radio, full of static. I'm still in orbit. They are chasing me, but I'm faster. I can do one gun run if you need it. Save it for when we really need it, said. He shot 2 more, then ducked behind cover as return fire tore chunks out of the wall. On the warship, Vex's rage had turned to something else. Fear. His forces were being slaughtered by a handful of humans. It should be impossible, but it was happening. Sir, the colony shields are back online. We can't bombard them anymore. Then send everything we have on the ground. I want those humans dead. The battle for New Haven had only just begun. But for the first time in 3 days, the people in the shelters had hope. Earth's warriors had fallen from the sky, and they were not leaving. The first day of fighting felt like a year, and his team had not slept. They could not afford to. The sent wave after wave of soldiers, and every wave had to be turned back. By sunrise, the situation was clear. The 19 human soldiers had changed everything. The shields were holding at 20%. The shelter entrance was secure. The ground forces, which had numbered over 3,000, were now down to less than 1,000. But the humans were tired, low on ammunition, and still vastly outnumbered. Stood on a rooftop looking at the city. Bodies littered the streets mostly. His team had fought brilliantly, but they could not keep this up forever. We need a new strategy, said, joining him on the roof. Her armor was scorched and dented. We're killing them, but they have ships. They can just bring more soldiers. I know, said. He looked up at the sky, where the fleet circled. We need to hurt them so badly that they question whether this colony is worth it. How do we do that? Was quiet for a moment, then he smiled. We take the fight to them. An hour later, gathered the team leaders, and they stood in the command center with Commander. They have a command center 5 kilometers from here, said, pointing to a map. It's where General Vex is directing the ground forces. If we take it out, their army loses coordination. 5 kilometers through enemy territory, said. With how many of us? 10. We split our forces. Half stay here to defend, half go on the attack. Stood up, you'll never make it. They have thousands of soldiers between here and there. We won't go through them, said, Understanding's plan. We'll go under them. The city has maintenance tunnels. Nodded slowly. Yes, they run throughout the colony, but they might know about them. It's a risk we have to take, said. You're in command of the defense. Hold the shelter and the towers, and 6 others come with me. We hit the command center at nightfall. They spent the day preparing. The technicians showed them the tunnel maps. The tunnels were narrow and dark, but they would provide cover. Selected his team carefully. He needed fast, quiet soldiers for this mission. As night fell, his team entered the tunnels. They moved through darkness using night vision to see. The tunnels smelled of oil and old water. Every sound echoed. Contact ahead, whispered a soldier named. Guards at the next intersection. Signaled for silence. They moved forward like ghosts. The guards never knew what hit them. His team used blades instead of guns, keeping quiet. The guards fell without making a sound. They moved deeper into held territory. Above them, they could hear the heavy footsteps of alien soldiers. Twice, they had to hide as patrols passed directly overhead. Each time, they waited in absolute silence until the danger passed. After 3 hours, they reached the area below the command center, studied her scanner. The building above us has power signatures, multiple inside. I count maybe 40 soldiers plus General Vex. How do we get up there? Asked. Pointed to a service ladder. We go up quiet, take out the guards, then we move fast and loud, plant charges, get out before they know we're there. And if we get trapped, then we fight our way out. They climbed the ladder one at a time, went first. At the top was a locked hatch. He used a cutting tool to slice through the lock, moving slowly to keep quiet. When the hatch opened, he found himself in a storage room. Two guards stood nearby, talking in their harsh language. Didn't understand the words, but he understood guard duty. They were bored and not paying attention. Big mistake. Moved like a shadow. Both guards were dead before they could raise their weapons. He signaled the others to come up. One by one, his team entered the building. They were now in the heart of enemy territory, checked her scanner and pointed down a hallway. Command center is that way. They moved through the building, taking out guards silently. Counted 12 dead before they reached the command center door. He could hear General Vex's voice inside, giving orders. Plant the charges, whispered. Everyone else ready for a fight. Moved to the wall and began attaching explosive charges. They had enough to bring down the entire building. Watched the hallway, waiting for the alarm to sound. But something went wrong. A soldier walked around the corner carrying supplies. He saw the humans and froze for 1 second. Then he screamed in alarm. Go loud, shouted, finish the charges. The team opened fire. The command center door exploded as hit it with a rocket. Inside, soldiers scrambled for weapons, threw grenades into the room and rushed in behind them. The command center was chaos. Saw General Vex at the far end, his 4 arms reaching for a massive weapon. Fired, hitting the general in the shoulder. Vex roared in pain but didn't fall. Humans, Vex bellowed, you dare enter my command center. We dare, said, firing again. The room erupted in violence. His team fought with everything they had. His heavy guns tore through soldiers, moved like a dancer, her shots precise and deadly, but more were coming. Charges set, shouted, 30 seconds. Fall back, ordered. They ran for the exit, firing behind them. Was the last one out. He turned to see General Vex standing in the doorway, bleeding but alive. This isn't over, human, Vex shouted. Yes it is, said. He pressed the detonator. The building exploded. The blast was massive, lighting up the night sky, and his team were thrown forward by the shockwave. When looked back, the command center was gone, replaced by a burning crater. Back at the shelter, saw the explosion and smiled. That's our signal. All units push forward. The human and defenders launched a coordinated attack. Without their command center, the forces fell into confusion. Some units retreated. Others fought without coordination. The organized army became a panicked mob. On his warship, Vex's second-in-command received the news. General Vex was dead, buried under tons of rubble. The ground forces were in retreat, and those cursed humans were still fighting. Sir, what are your orders? Asked an officer. The second-in-command looked at the casualty reports. They had lost over 2,000 soldiers. The humans had lost only 1. This was not a battle, it was a massacre. Pull back the ground forces, he said quietly. Maintain orbital position. We'll wait for reinforcements. On the ground, and his team made it back to the shelter. They were wounded and exhausted, but alive. Commander met them at the entrance. You did it, said, amazement in his voice. They are retreating. For now, said, but they'll be back. We need to keep fortifying, keep preparing. That night, for the first time in 4 days, the people of New Haven slept without the sound of bombardment. In the shelter, human and children slept peacefully. On the walls, soldiers kept watch, but the ship stayed in orbit, not attacking. Sat on the roof of the defense tower, cleaning his rifle. His voice came over his radio. Nice fireworks down there, boss. That explosion was visible from orbit. "How much longer until the fleet arrives?" asked. 2 days. Can you hold for 2 more days?" Looked at his team. They were battered but unbroken. They were Earth's warriors and they did not know how to quit. "We'll hold," said, "for as long as it takes." They did not give up easily. For 2 days, they tested the colony's defenses. They sent small groups of soldiers to probe for weaknesses. They bombarded the shields from orbit when they thought they could break through, but every time they were turned back. His team fought with the precision of a machine. They had learned the tactics and knew how to counter them. More importantly, they had taught the defenders how to fight back. Commander's soldiers, once hopeless and afraid, now fought with courage. They had seen what was possible when you refused to surrender. On the morning of the third day, something changed. Was on the wall when came running. "You need to see this." He followed her to the command center. On the screens, they could see the fleet, but something was happening. The ships were moving into a new formation. "They're preparing for a final assault," said. "They're going to throw everything at us." "How long until Earth's fleet arrives?" asked. His voice came over the radio. 6 hours, but know they're coming. I've intercepted their communications. They're planning one massive attack to destroy the colony before the fleet arrives." Looked at his team. They had fought for 3 days straight with almost no rest. They were running low on ammunition. Several were wounded, but they were still standing. "Then we hold for 6 more hours," said simply. The attack began at noon. Every ship in the fleet opened fire on the shields. The shields, already weak, began to flicker and fail. At the same time, landing ships descended, carrying the remainder of the ground forces. Over 1,000 soldiers, all of them coming at once. "All positions, this is it," shouted over the radio. "Make every shot count." The battle was like nothing they had seen before. They came from every direction. His position at the East Tower was overrun within minutes. He and his team fell back, fighting step by step, making the pay for every meter. At the West Tower's team ran out of ammunition. They switched to hand-to-hand combat, using their enhanced strength against the larger aliens. It was brutal and desperate. Held the shelter entrance with the soldiers. Warriors crashed against their position like waves against a cliff. His heavy guns roared until they overheated. Then he picked up a fallen weapon and kept firing. "They're breaking through on the north side," shouted. Ran to plug the gap. He found 3 soldiers pushing through a broken wall. He engaged them alone. The fight was vicious. One caught him with a blade cutting deep into his armor. Felt ribs break, but he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Too many people depended on him. He killed all 3, but he could barely stand. Blood ran down his side. His vision was blurry. "Down," someone shouted. Reached him, pulling him to cover. "You're hurt bad, sir." "I can still fight," said, trying to stand. His legs wouldn't work properly. "Sir, you've done enough. Let us handle this." But looked past and saw what was coming. A massive warrior, bigger than the others, was leading a group toward the shelter entrance. If that entrance fell, the civilians would be defenseless. "Help me up," ordered. Pulled him to his feet. Together, they moved to intercept the big. The warrior saw them coming and laughed. "2 humans to fight me? Foolish." "We're not just humans," said, raising his weapon. "We're Earth's warriors, and we don't lose." The fight was desperate. The big was strong and fast, but worked together. Every time they attacked, hit him from the side. Every time he turned to, struck. Slowly, they wore the massive warrior down. Finally saw an opening. He drove his blade into this neck. The warrior fell, shaking the ground. But there were more coming, always more. "We can't hold much longer," said over the radio. His voice was strained. "We're down to blades and empty rifles." Looked at the sky. The Earth fleet had to be close now. They just needed a few more minutes. Then he heard it, a sound like thunder, but it wasn't thunder. "Look," a soldier shouted, pointing up. Ships were dropping out of jump space. Dozens of them, hundreds of them. Earth's seventh fleet had arrived, and they were not alone. The home fleet had come too, and ships from a dozen other allied worlds. Admiral Young's voice boomed across all frequencies. This is the Earth fleet. All forces, you have 10 seconds to cease fire and withdraw. After that, we will consider you hostile and engage with full force. On the flagship, the second-in-command stared at the massive fleet that had just appeared. They outnumbered his forces 10-1. The battle was over before it began. "Withdraw," he ordered. "All forces return to ships, we're leaving." The soldiers on the ground heard the order. They began to pull back, running for their landing ships. The humans were too tired to pursue. They simply watched as their enemies fled. Within an hour, the fleet jumped away. They left behind 1,000 dead soldiers and the ruins of their command center. They had come to conquer New Haven. Instead, they had learned a terrible lesson. Never underestimate Earth. Stood on the wall as the Earth fleet took up position around the planet. Medical ships were already landing, bringing doctors and supplies. He watched as ship, the Phoenix, descended and landed near the shelter. The pilot climbed out, grinning. "Told you I'd see you planetside." "Good to see you," said. Then his legs finally gave out. He collapsed. He woke up 3 days later in a medical bay on one of the Earth ships. His wounds had been treated. His broken ribs were healing. Sat beside his bed. "You scared us, sir," said. "You lost a lot of blood." The others asked. "Everyone made it. Some injuries, but we're all alive. Well, except for she died in the drop." Closed his eyes. They had lost 1 soldier out of 20. By any measure, it was a success, but 1 death was still 1 too many. "What happened to the colony?" he asked. "Rebuilding. The civilians want to meet you. They're calling you heroes." "We're just soldiers," said. "No, sir, you're more than that. You prove that Earth keeps its promises, that we don't abandon our people. Word is spreading across the galaxy. They are telling everyone what happened here, about how 20 human soldiers held off an entire fleet." Smiled. "Good, let them tell everyone. Let the whole galaxy know. If you threaten Earth's people, Earth will come for you, no matter how far, no matter the odds." A month later, New Haven was on its way to recovery. The destroyed buildings were being rebuilt. The shield generators were repaired and upgraded. Earth had sent engineers and supplies. The had done the same. And his team stood in the main square of the colony. Thousands of people had gathered. Humans, and others who had made New Haven their home. Commander stood at a podium. "3 months ago, we thought we would die alone," said. "We thought no one would come. We were wrong. Earth sent 20 of its finest warriors. They fell from the sky like lightning. They fought when the fight seemed hopeless. They held the line when the line seemed unbreakable. Today, we honor them." The crowd erupted in cheers. Children waved Earth flags and banners, felt embarrassed by all the attention. He was just doing his job. But leaned over and whispered, "Let them celebrate, sir. They need this. Hope is important." General had traveled from Earth for the ceremony. He approached and shook his hand. "You did well, soldier. Better than anyone expected. The council is recommending all of you for the highest honors." "We were just doing our duty, sir," said. "I know, that's what makes you heroes. You didn't do it for glory. You did it because it was right." Later walked through the colony with. They stopped at a memorial that had been built. It had 21 names on it, 20 for the team that came to help, and 1 name, the soldier who died in the drop. "Do you think we made a difference?" asked. Looked at the children playing in the square. He saw humans and working together to rebuild. He saw hope where there had been despair. "Yes," said, "we made a difference." That night, as prepared to return to Earth, he stood on the roof of the defense tower one last time. He looked up at the stars. Out there, somewhere, other people might be in danger. Other colonies might need help. And if they called, Earth would answer. not with empty words or promises, but with warriors, with soldiers who knew that the hardest battles were the ones worth fighting. They had learned this lesson. They thought no one would arrive to save New Haven. They were wrong. Earth's warriors had fallen from the sky, and they had shown the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. Not just survival, but protection. Not just strength, but compassion. Not just fighting, but sacrifice. This was humanity's promise to the stars. This was Earth's gift to the galaxy. And the story of New Haven would be told for generations to come. The story of 20 soldiers who refused to let innocent people die alone. The story of Earth's finest, who held the line against impossible odds. The story of the day the warriors fell from the sky.